Welcome to Hero Villains. Today's battle, who do you think will win in a fight between House of M's Scarlet Witch and Jean Grey, White Phoenix of the Crown? In House of M, Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, possesses the ability to warp reality on a massive scale. She can alter the fabric of reality, create parallel universes, and manipulate probability. Despite her immense power, her abilities can be unstable and are often affected by her emotional state. In House of M, she is driven by pain and trauma, which fuels her powers. As the White Phoenix of the Crown, Jean Grey embodies the full power of the Phoenix Force, which grants her immense abilities, including telepathy, telekinesis, resurrection, and reality manipulation. White Phoenix is often portrayed as one of the most powerful embodiments of the Phoenix Force, able to manipulate life and death on a cosmic scale. Jean's control of her powers can vary, but as the White Phoenix, she is often portrayed as having complete control over her abilities. Before we dive into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button, and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much! Wanda is an entity created through genetic engineering by the High Evolutionary. From the beginning, her powers were influenced by the elder god Chthon, who is actually Thor's mother's brother. Initially, Wanda's ability to manipulate probability was extremely impressive, but under Chthon's influence, they evolved into a method that allowed her to directly tap into chaos magic, one of the primal energies of the multiverse. With this power, Wanda can bend and restructure reality at will, making her one of the most powerful entities on the planet. Jean is an incredibly powerful mutant belonging to the Omega level. Jean possesses the ability to manipulate matter at the subatomic level and manipulate energy fields in a similar manner. With her incredible power, she can destroy all life on the planet. Jean is also one of the few beings who can completely control and channel the power of the Phoenix Force, the true source of destructive and creative energy in the universe. This is the power that helped create Galactus and may have indirectly led to the creation of the Infinity Stones. In all of reality, there are very few entities that are more powerful than Jean. If Jean were to fight alone, she could win against Wanda with speed and ruthlessness, especially when her opponent is mentally fragile. However, if she hesitates, even for a moment, Wanda can easily defeat her. But when Jean possesses the Phoenix Force, the situation changes completely. In terms of power, Jean Grey has an overwhelming advantage over Wanda, as she is empowered by the Phoenix Force. Both characters possess a variety of abilities, but when people think of Jean, they often think of Dark Phoenix or Phoenix of the White Crown level powers. Meanwhile, Scarlet Witch is known for her ability to bend reality, which makes it important to assess the nature of both of their powers. Both have the ability to manipulate reality in own unique ways. Wanda's powers are explained as a form of mutant ability. She can manipulate probability by emitting hexagon beams. These beams essentially have the ability to influence matter and energy fields, though they are usually manifested as bad luck for the target. For example, in the Onslaught storyline Avengers 400, Wanda stops Quicksilver from killing Joseph, then believed to be an amnesiac Magneto, on a dock. Before Quicksilver can do so, water suddenly floods, destroying the wooden dock and separating them, demonstrating that Wanda's hexagon beams can have unpredictable consequences. Each time she uses her powers, the results are completely different. The real truth is that Wanda has the ability to manipulate a magical energy source called chaos magic. This ability was given to her by the High Evolutionary through his experiments and was further enhanced by the Lovecraftian dark god Chthon. It is Wanda's ability to manipulate chaos magic that gives her the ability to bend reality. Additionally, chaos magic actually turned out to be the source of her hex rays. Wanda's abilities would later surpass any level of power she had shown so far when she secretly met with Dr. Doom. With Dr. Doom's help, Wanda would become a conduit for Earth's living force. The living force enhanced Wanda's chaos magic abilities to the point where she could recreate the children she had lost out of thin air. However, it turned out that she wasn't strong enough to contain that power, and like Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force, the raw power caused her to collapse, which set off the House of M storyline. During the House of M storyline, Wanda performed some pretty incredible feats. She created a world of her own will where mutants ruled, and in doing so, depowered over 90% of the mutant race. She also had power over life and death, as she killed Hawkeye multiple times just to bring him back. But one thing has always been clear: Wanda never maintained any control over this power. It drove her insane. Jean was identified as an Omega-level mutant. Her telepathic and telekinetic abilities were highly regarded, even by powerful individuals like Professor Xavier. However, due to mental barriers placed in her mind from the beginning, it was only through an extraordinary act of sacrifice that Jean became a host to the cosmic entity known as the Phoenix Force. It is important to understand that the Phoenix Force and Jean Grey are two separate entities, completely independent of each other. The Phoenix Force was drawn to Jean because of her limitless power potential and has been attached to her for much of comic book history. However, what many people do not realize is that when Jean becomes the Dark Phoenix, she is no longer Jean. Jean returns as Phoenix, taking on Jean's physical form. Jean was actually recovering in an egg beneath some body of water, so when Phoenix went mad due to Mastermind's interference, it became Dark Phoenix. And Dark Phoenix has performed some terrifying feats, like consuming a star and destroying an inhabited planet. Originally, it was intended that Jean was actually possessed by the Phoenix, as if to say that Jean was beyond redemption. So they explained that the Phoenix Force alone was responsible for these galactic atrocities. One of the most special powers that the Phoenix's host possesses is the ability to create cosmic fire. These cosmic fires can burn unhindered underwater or even in the vacuum of space. The Phoenix also grants the host the ability to travel through time at will with ease. Furthermore, the Phoenix Force grants the host the ability to control and warp reality. Both the Dark Phoenix and the White Phoenix possess this power, but it seems that the White Phoenix of the Crown has much greater control. Jean, as the White Phoenix, not only remade this apocalyptic timeline, but absorbed it into the white hot chamber outside of time and space. Jean stands among countless other Phoenix avatars, possibly from different dimensions, and holds the Earth 616 universe in the palm of her hand. The entire universe. Subscribe to the channel, it helps us a lot, and moreover, you will get to see amazing videos every day. You are the best, thank you so much. She then healed her universe and completely changed the timeline just by wishing for it. And recently, Jean Grey returned, only to witness the Phoenix Force bringing back everyone she loved who died in her life, including the recently deceased Scott Summers. Scott was used by the Phoenix to lure Jean into rekindling their relationship. Jean refused and the Phoenix split, leaving Scott to wither away into a corpse in just a moment. So when it comes to Phoenix empowered Jean Grey, Jean ended up being infinitely more powerful than Scarlet Witch. Connecting to the life force was too much for Scarlet Witch. Not only did it drive her insane, it also prevented her from fully controlling her reality warping abilities. The same is true for Jean. The Phoenix Force is an incredibly powerful cosmic entity, however, when it comes down to it, even when Jean loses control, she still has two minds, hers and the Phoenix. As such, Jean still has her Phoenix powers even when her mental stability is at its worst. Add to that the fact that Jean can travel back and forth in time at will and manipulate reality with fewer side effects than Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is now significantly superior to Jean. Jean has officially been separated from the Phoenix Force, meaning she only has her original mutant powers, empathy, telepathy, and the ability to control objects with her mind. In terms of telepathy, Jean has proven herself to be an Omega-level telepath on multiple occasions. Even without the Phoenix Force, her psychic powers are superior to top telepaths like Emma Frost and Professor Xavier. As for telekinesis, Jean is certainly not the most powerful telekinetic mutant. Currently, that title would probably go to Exodus, who has shown much more impressive telekinetic feats than Jean. Wanda, on the other hand, still retains considerable power despite no longer being a vessel for the life force. Her best performances came during the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline. Scarlet Witch was able to easily replace the Phoenix-powered Namor and severely injure Cyclops with a single touch. So Wanda is probably much more powerful than Jean at the moment. Scarlet Witch, first, she has resistance to the Phoenix Force. Her magic is known to be immune to. Scarlet Witch actually faced Jean Grey in Forever X-Men 2, where they were fighting for Wakanda. During this fight, Scarlet Witch's powers become unpredictable and her magic easily overwhelms Jean, leaving her completely unable to fight. Other times in X-Men, in Professor X and in X-Men Volume 8, there is an instance where Wanda casts a spell on Jean Grey, stripping her of her powers, leaving Jean unable to move any objects with her mind. John isn't even sure what she's going to do with herself after that. Scarlet Witch is in the top 20 cosmic hierarchy in the entire Marvel Universe. Dark Phoenix isn't even in the top 20, but White Phoenix is. While Scarlet Witch in House of M is incredibly powerful, she's nothing compared to WOTC. SW has affected the multiverse, wiped out 90% of mutants, and performed spells so complex that even Doctor Strange couldn't undo them. It took a toll. Wanda had a mental breakdown. It destroyed her completely. WPOTC, on the other hand, literally held the entire 616 universe in the palm of her hand and healed it. As Dark Phoenix, she consumed a star, destroying an entire star system, killing an entire race in the process. Scarlet Witch has controlled her powers while they continue to grow. Professor X called a meeting to decide her fate. Quicksilver is horrified by the fact that Xavier is seriously considering killing Wanda and convinces Wanda to take desperate action to prevent this from happening. She is not fully possessed by the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force merely augments her powers, as it is a cosmic entity. While empowered by the Phoenix Force, Grey has the ability to manipulate matter with her mind at the molecular level, allowing her to manipulate atomic structures on a global scale. She can create any form of energy in seemingly limitless quantities, as well as absorb energy from sources as large as supernovae, or even transform her physical form into pure energy and vice versa. When using her powers, the Phoenix Force manifests around Grey as a cosmic firebird, the size of which varies depending on the amount of energy she uses. The cosmic fire is a literal punctuation to the Phoenix's purpose of burning away what is ineffective so that it does not even need oxygen. Wanda, even with powers like her, can only do one of two things: or trap the Phoenix Force, but to do so she would have to use a large portion or all of her power to do so, not to mention the amount of centration and time it would take for the rest of her life to maintain the trap spell. The other method Wanda could use is to try to separate the Phoenix Force from the host. Again, this would require an incredible amount of power. This move would potentially kill the host, but it would do nothing to its Phoenix Force. Unfortunately, at that point the Phoenix Force is still there and now really angry. In both of these scenarios, Wanda actually loses. In the trap scenario, it just becomes a delaying tactic, since the Phoenix Force is a universal force that only a few in the MCU and comic multiverse are stronger than, and Wanda is not one of them. In the separation tactic, yes, Wanda kills Jean Grey, but the Phoenix Force is still present in the fight. The Phoenix Force would just disintegrate Wanda at that point. Then, if the Phoenix Force chooses, it can resurrect Jean Grey later. Even in the classic battles between Jean Grey and Wanda, these battles never lasted long because Jean was stronger, and it was only when Wanda used her Hex ability against others that she was able to get rid of Jean. This continued even as their powers increased, and even when Jean Grey lost the Phoenix Force, White Phoenix of the Crown, Scarlet Witch would give her a good fight, but the Phoenix would ultimately win. While Wanda Home was powerful enough to change the future of entire dimensions, she did so completely unintentionally and only because her mind was so broken that her natural limitations were also broken. In contrast, White Phoenix is the perfect combination of Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force and is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel multiverse, capable of wiping out entire universes. On top of that, the Phoenix is functionally immortal, unlike Wanda. So considering this, I think Jean Grey is stronger than Scarlet Witch. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.